How many of you can remember the day when sin's burden was taken off of your shoulder? Prophet Isaiah said, the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. Sister Inge is going to sing for us now. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down.
Yo. So I want to talk about the man of the hour, and we're going to make this thing real quick. Right? And today, baseball player Hank Aaron died. Okay. Baseball player Hank Aaron died. And I feel like it was worthy of mentioning that he died, and I wanted to come and pop up and talk about this while the topic was still fresh before you got inundated with it. But there was an overlying issue to why Hank Aaron was not as heralded as much as some other baseball players, right? So here before us, we see Hank Aaron, we see Babe Ruth, and we also see Barry Bonds. Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds, they all broke Babe Ruth's records. George Herman Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Hank Aaron both broke his records, right? And when we look at this is prototypical of America because here we have a white man who's still anointed. If you ask folks who's the most famous baseball player of all time, a bunch of people still hang on to George Herman Ruth, otherwise known as Babe Ruth. However, Hank Aaron obliterated his records. Hank Aaron still has more RBIs than both Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds, right? And one of the things that they talk about is the PEDs with Barry Bonds. However, baseball is all about hand-eye coordination. The PEDs helps you recover faster. Okay, the PEDs helps you recover faster. You know, and so you're talking about steroids. If you asking me personally, why do we care about steroids in a non-contact sport? That would be my question. Why do we care about PED usage in a non-contact sport? But however, Hank Aaron was one of these guys where I believe that Hank Aaron came from the Negro Leagues, and he signed to the Atlanta Braves, right? And folks in Atlanta are very familiar with him. He owns a bunch of car dealerships and a bunch of restaurants. He's a stamp or a staple of the community out there. You know, he was a staple of the community, right? And so he started off in the Negro Leagues for a team in Indianapolis called the Clowns. Okay, he started off playing for the Indianapolis Clowns in the Negro Leagues. And those of us who aren't in the know, those of us who don't really know too much, then what we have to realize is that what happened in the olden days and the golden days is that they would go in and they would pull guys from the Negro Leagues to build up a white sport. And today in American sports, you have a bunch of athletes who cannot take a definitive stance towards anything. People's voices, black athletes' voices are pretty much tuned out. Particularly in football, they're treated like slaves. You have in the NFL, and I made a Facebook status about this yesterday, you had 6 head coaching jobs that were open in the NFL. And 2 of the major guys who were in the NFL was a guy who is the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, a guy by the name of Eric Bieniemy. And then you also have another guy by the name of Todd Bowles. And Todd Bowles is a defensive coordinator, a highly sought after defensive coordinator in the NFL, right? However, these guys, even though they're highly touted, they don't get to get the same opportunities in American sports because sports are white owned and white operated, right? With George Herman Ruth, Babe Ruth did not play against any black players. He hit 713 home runs, but you playing against a bunch of out of shape hicks. The Negro Leagues was the shit back in the day. This is why they came over to the Negro Leagues to get Willie Mays and to get Cool Papa Bell, to get your Bob Gibsons, to get your Hank Aaron's, because the better talent was in the Negro Leagues, right? Even when you look at the NBA and the ABA, okay, the NBA-ABA merger, that was beneficial for the NBA. The NBA had all of the old white dudes. The ABA had the George Gervins, the Julius Ervins, the Oscar Robinsons. They had all of the talent back in the day. You know, they had all of the talent back in the day. And so we see this thing go on time after time where you see the intersectionality of the black voice and the black dollar being permeated within white American sports culture. And this is one of the things that Hank Aaron suffered with throughout his career. It would be people that would spike him, call him niggas. When he went to break George Herman Ruth's, Babe Ruth's home run record, they sent him death threats. They call him all types of niggas and coons and things like that because he was playing the game to the highest level. You hear things being said such as baseball is America's favorite pastime. And when they say America, they're talking about white America. When Trump was saying make America great again, he wanted white folks to go back to the 1950s. He wanted white folks to go back to the 1950s. This is what Make America Great Again was about. What's going on, Courtney? But when they say America's favorite pastime, how could baseball be America's favorite pastime when baseball is not even universally viewed by everyone? Put that in your pipe and smoke that real quick. Baseball is not universally viewed by everyone. Okay. So, case in point, the Super Bowl is the most viewed telecast each year. It's like the most viewed program each year. But they don't really talk too much about it because the NFL is majority black. And they try not to have a black iconic voice. When you look at Tiger Woods, one of the biggest reasons of why Tiger Woods has a tainted legacy is because Tiger Woods started breaking all of their records. He started going after Arnold Palmer's records and Jack Nicklaus's records. And so when you want to hold on to white superiority, but you have black images of greatness, they don't like that. When you fast forward, when you look at some of the things that Venus and Serena Williams had to go through, being in a predominantly white sport, is because they try to hang on to their white icons. The white icons are something that they want to hang on to. It's something that they need to hang on to. But what's going on, Trevor? They try to hang on to white icons to perpetuate the myth of white superiority. When you look at white folks want to hang on to Rocky Marciano in boxing. White folks want to hang on to Rocky Marciano in the world of boxing. However, Rocky Marciano went undefeated. He went 49-0, but it's also widely known that they fixed fights back when he was boxing. The mob used to fix Rocky Marciano's fights. So he was a heavyweight champion of the world, but he cannot compare to a Joe Frazier who fought George Foreman and he fought Ali. He also fought Ken Norton. He can't compare to a Larry Holmes. He can't compare to a Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali is universally touted as the greatest because of his stance in the ring and outside of the ring. A Mike Tyson. And so they fix the game for white athletes. And then with the black athletes have to fight amongst the best of the best. They're on a whole different playing field. When you look at these three guys who are here on the screen, Hank Aaron was great despite the fact that they tried to suppress him and hold him down. When you look at white greatness is just that. It's white greatness, and that's confined to whiteness. When they say that he is great, that's against inferior white talent, but that's not against the universal greatest players. I mean, listen, baseball will be at a far greater point than what it is today if there was not so much racism in Major League Baseball. The owner of the Cincinnati Reds, her name was Martha. What is the lady's name? Marge Schott. Okay. Marge Schott. And what Marge Schott, she saw two of her players who were warming up. And this lady owned the Cincinnati Reds baseball team. When she saw two of her players warming up, somebody said, look, there goes it was an outfielder and then there was a shortstop guy. And they said, look at them, man, those guys are great. She said, those are my $1 million niggers. As though she was a slave owner. And if you guys have not heard it already, and I think I'm going to re-upload it today, I encourage everybody to go and to listen to my podcast, to listen to my telecast called $1 Million Niggas, right? And I do a whole podcast on this topic right here, right? You see it?
It's great. But when everybody can be great when you pan behind a 2,000-yard rusher. Now.
And I talked about this in my podcast entitled $1 Million Niggas, right? And so I encourage everybody within the sound of my voice to go and to listen to that, to revisit that. If you haven't heard it before, go and check it out. But this is what a Major League, the name of my podcast is Opinionated Parental Advisor. The name of my podcast is Opinionated Parental Advisory. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Chromecast, Streamcast, something like that. We on several different platforms, and we talk about this perpetuating strife, right? Or this perpetual situation that Black Americans are placed in as sports. Hank Aaron was somebody who never got his just due. They did not want to induct him in the Hall of Fame. They didn't want to induct him in the Hall of Fame on his first ballot. So he runs into the same problems that we see perpetuated throughout history in getting the shit end of the stick. He got the shit end of the stick. And the reason that he got the shit end of the stick is because he tore down an image of what white folks believe themselves to be. And this is what the quintessential problem is in America is once you rip away the image of who white folks think of themselves, you become public enemy number one. If you are able to change the way that white folks think about themselves, you are now the number one enemy of the state. When you look at Muammar Gaddafi, when he started enacting trade lines, when he started creating a relationship with the Nation of Islam through the Islamic faith that he and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared, he instantly became enemy of the state number one, because if black folks are in a position to where they have a fair shot, then you will alter the way that white folks think about themselves. When you see Planned Parenthood in all of the black communities, and you see the black community where more babies are aborted every single year. Black babies are aborted in large numbers every single year because they want to stop the browning of America. That's what they want to stop. What was Joe Biden's first order yesterday? To repeal the abortion laws. That Trump enacted. He wanted to repeal those. He wants to repeal the abortion laws. The reason why abortion is a big topic, they never tell us about these things, but the reason why abortions are a big topic is because the reason why abortions are a big topic is because they are trying to keep the white race intact. They want the white race to stay intact. And this is the reason why the abortion stance is what it is. You have fundamental. Hold on one second. What up, 100 devices? Listen, you have the fundamental issue in America of you have the fundamental issue in America of the treatment of black folks, and then they want to stop the fear of the black planet. However, when you start talking about major league sports, you start talking about these people in sports. Sports is one of their last rest havens and strongholds that these guys have. When you get out there on the court, when you get out there and it's just mano-a-mano, a lot of them cannot stand tact with what's going on. When you look at the NBA, when you look at the NFL, you look at all these different leagues, they have altered the rules and the integrity of the sport. They have altered the integrity of the sport in order to keep up with and to maintain white supremacy in sports. When you look at the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, these are the guys that they promote. These are the guys who get the most promotion. I know y'all listening like, yo, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. These guys are half white. These guys are half white. When you look at someone like Cam Newton, who is a full nigga, his daddy name is Cecil. I don't know a white Cecil. His daddy name is Cecil Newton. He gets an unfair amount of criticism because he's a black and he's playing the position of quarterback. May Hank Aaron rest in peace, y'all. May Hank Aaron rest in peace. All right. Now, everybody stay tuned. Later on, I'll come back with some different, with something that I was supposed to talk about today. But I wanted to not miss this moment to talk about the truth about the life of Hank Aaron, y'all. Be easy.
Here, come on. Listen. I remember coming up as a little boy, going to church with my mother, and some of them old saints, and I and my grandmother, some of them old saints, they begin to sing them old time songs. Can I get a witness in here? And some deacons begin to sing something like that here. Here we go. Listen. Oh, glory. Hallelujah. Since I love, my burden, can I get a witness in here? Oh, glory, hallelujah. Since I love, clap your hands in here. I like this other verse right here. Listen, it says, listen here. Oh, I feel it here. So much. Since I love I'm laid now. Can I get over this over here? Oh, I feel it. Oh, so much. Since I love I got one more verse. To live with Bye.